Today, I want to talk about something that affects every part of our lives. How we see ourselves, how we speak up, and how we move forward. Self-confidence. We often think of confidence as something people are born with, like a gift some are lucky to receive. But the truth is, the confidence is built, not born. And one of the most powerful tools we have to build it is conversation. Each time you speak up, whether in a classroom, a meeting, or even in a one-on-one chat, you have the chance to grow your confidence. Every conversation is a small step, a brick in the foundation of self-belief. Let me be clear. You don't have to start with grand speeches. You start with simple, honest exchanges, asking questions, sharing ideas, listening, learning. The more you engage, the more you start to realize your voice matters. Confidence doesn't mean being the loudest in the room. It means trusting your voice even when it shakes. It means being open to learning without tearing yourself down. It means knowing that you are enough, improving, yes, but enough at every step. So speak, ask, share. Every time you do, you reinforce that you belong in the conversation. Because building self-confidence doesn't happen overnight. It happens one conversation at a time. Confidence is built, not inherited. Many people mistakenly believe that confidence is something you're either born with or not. They see someone speaking boldly in front of a crowd or making decisions with ease and assume that they're just naturally confident. This is one of the most damaging myths about self-confidence. The truth is, confidence is not a fixed trait. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed with time, patience, and practice. Think of confidence like a muscle. No one is born with fully developed muscles. It takes regular effort, intentional exercises, and gradual progress to build strength. Similarly, self-confidence grows through repeated experiences. Moments where you challenge yourself, try new things, speak up despite uncertainty, and keep going even when things don't go perfectly. People who seem confident weren't always that way. They became confident by stepping outside their comfort zones, facing their fears, and surviving situations that once intimidated them. They learned from failure, gained feedback, and pushed forward despite doubt. Every confident person has a personal history of hesitation, anxiety, and vulnerability. But what sets them apart is their willingness to keep showing up. It's important to realize that no one wakes up one day overflowing with confidence. You build it brick by brick, moment by moment. It might begin by raising your hand in class, contributing in a meeting, or starting a conversation with someone new. These may seem like small acts, but each one is a building block, slowly shaping your belief in yourself. The best part? Anyone, regardless of age, background, or personality, can develop self-confidence. It's not reserved for extroverts or leaders or public speakers. It belongs to anyone who chooses to grow, who embraces discomfort, and who understands that confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing to try. So when you look at someone and think, I wish I had their confidence, remind yourself, they weren't born that way, they built it. And so can you. Conversations are confidence builders. Every conversation we have is more than just a social interaction. It's an opportunity to build self-confidence. Too often, people underestimate the power of ordinary dialogue. They believe confidence is shaped only on big stages or in high-pressure situations. But in truth, some of the most meaningful growth happens in the small, everyday moments when we choose to engage with others. Conversations help us practice using our voice. Whether you're sharing an opinion, asking a question, or even making small talk, you're putting yourself out there. You're expressing thoughts, forming connections, and giving value to what you have to say. Over time, this repeated act of speaking and being heard sends a powerful message to your brain. My voice has weight, my presence matters. One of the most overlooked benefits of conversation is that it builds clarity, not just in how we communicate, but in how we think. The more we express ourselves out loud, the more we refine our ideas, uncover our beliefs, and develop our ability to articulate who we are. Each conversation becomes a kind of rehearsal, a safe, low-stakes environment to explore and stretch our self-expression. Moreover, conversations offer immediate feedback, which is incredibly valuable for personal growth. You can see how people respond to your words, adjust your tone, improve your clarity, and adapt your style. This responsiveness builds not just confidence, but also emotional intelligence and resilience. You learn that you can navigate both supportive and challenging interactions and survive them. Even simple exchanges like greeting someone in the hallway or making small talk with a coworker can have a compound effect on your self-assurance. These small acts prove to yourself that you are capable of interacting, connecting, and participating in the world around you. They may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they create a strong foundation of confidence. And perhaps most importantly, conversations remind you that you're not alone. They create moments of human connection, reminders that others are also learning, also figuring things out. That shared vulnerability, that back and forth of understanding and being understood can be incredibly empowering. It tells you, I belong here and I have something to contribute. So start small when it comes to building self-confidence. Many people make the mistake of thinking they need to make a grand gesture or a major breakthrough to get started. They wait for the perfect moment, the big opportunity, or the right time to speak up or step forward. But the truth is, confidence doesn't begin with dramatic changes. It begins with small, manageable actions that you can take today. Starting small allows you to move at your own pace without overwhelming yourself. It could mean introducing yourself to someone new, making eye contact during a conversation, or contributing just one thought in a group discussion. These actions might seem insignificant on the surface, but they are powerful because they create momentum. Every small step you take builds trust in your ability to handle social situations and express yourself authentically. Small starts also help reduce the fear of failure. When we set the bar too high at the beginning, we set ourselves up for stress, self-doubt, and discouragement if things don't go as planned. But when we choose small, achievable goals, we make it easier to succeed. That success, no matter how minor it seems, boosts our belief in ourselves and prepares us for slightly bigger challenges next time. Additionally, starting small allows you to build a habit of action. Confidence is not a one-time achievement, it's a pattern of behavior reinforced over time. The more often you take small steps, the more natural they become. What once felt uncomfortable or intimidating begins to feel familiar and even rewarding. Your comfort zone gradually expands, and what was once a challenge becomes part of your normal routine. It's also important to recognize that starting small is not a sign of weakness or lack of ambition. It's a smart, strategic way to grow. Just as a seed becomes a tree with time, care, and consistent effort, your confidence develops through everyday moments. Choosing to take action, even if it's tiny, is a sign of strength. It shows that you're willing to try, to show up for yourself, and to make progress without waiting for perfection. In essence, building confidence isn't about leaps, it's about steps. Small, steady, intentional steps that eventually lead you to places you once thought were out of reach. Your voice matters. One of the most transformative realizations you can have on the journey to self-confidence is this: your voice matters. For many people, especially those who struggle with self-doubt, it can feel like their opinions aren't valuable, that their presence isn't necessary, or that others are more qualified to speak. These beliefs often take root early, from being overlooked in group settings, misunderstood at home, or dismissed in school or work environments. Over time, this silence can feel like safety. But staying silent doesn't protect you, it holds you back. Your voice is more than just sound. It carries your ideas, your experiences, your emotions, and your truth. When you speak up, you're not just sharing information, you're allowing yourself to be seen and heard. You're making a statement that your thoughts are worth expressing and that you have a rightful place in the conversation. This act, even in its simplest form, is a powerful declaration of self-worth. It's important to understand that your voice has unique value simply because no one else sees the world the way you do. Your background, your struggles, your wins, and even your questions contribute something original. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room or have all the answers. Sometimes the courage to ask a question, offer a perspective, or simply say, I don't know, can create more impact than any polished statement. Using your voice also creates ripples. When you speak, you inspire others to do the same. You give silent permission for others who may be holding back to find their courage. This is especially true in group settings, whether in class, at work, or among friends. A single comment or contribution can shift the tone of a conversation, open up new perspectives, or give someone else the confidence to add their voice to the mix. And remember, using your voice doesn't always mean speaking loudly or often. It can mean expressing yourself in writing, through art, in one-on-one conversations, or in acts of advocacy and leadership. What matters is that you are authentically expressing yourself, however that looks for you. When you start trusting your voice, you also start trusting your intuition, your judgment, and your identity. That internal trust is the core of self-confidence. It's the knowledge that you don't have to be anyone else to be worthy of attention or respect. You just have to be yourself and have the courage to let that self be known. It's okay to be nervous. One of the biggest misconceptions about confidence is that it means never feeling nervous, anxious, or uncertain. People often assume that those who appear confident are fearless, that they always know what to say, how to act, or what to do. But the truth is, even the most self-assured individuals experience nerves. The difference is that they don't let those feelings stop them. They move forward with the nerves, not in spite of them. Feeling nervous doesn't mean you're weak or incapable. It means you care. It means you're stepping into a moment that matters to you. Whether it's speaking in front of a group, sharing a personal story, or starting a new job, nerves are a natural human response to vulnerability and challenge. And in fact, nervousness is often a sign that you're growing, stretching beyond what's comfortable or familiar. And growth never comes without some degree of discomfort. Learning to accept your nervousness rather than fight it is an essential step in building true confidence. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it's the willingness to act in the presence of it. When you allow yourself to be nervous and still show up, you begin to prove to yourself that you are capable of handling uncertainty. Over time, that builds resilience, a deeper, more sustainable form of confidence that isn't shaken by a fast heartbeat or sweaty palms. Think of it this way. Being nervous before a conversation or presentation is like your body's way of saying, this is important. Your heart beats faster, your thoughts race, and your energy rises. Instead of seeing that as a threat, try seeing it as preparation. Those nerves can sharpen your focus, increase your alertness, and remind you to stay grounded in the moment. If you reframe nervousness as readiness, it can actually become a helpful ally instead of a barrier. It's also important to know that you don't need to hide your nerves to be taken seriously. People connect with authenticity. When you allow your genuine feelings to show, without letting them control you, you demonstrate real strength. Admitting you're nervous, especially in a supportive environment, can actually enhance connection and trust. Others may relate to your honesty and feel more encouraged to face their own fears. Oh, fear. Ultimately, confidence grows not by avoiding fear, but by facing it again and again until it loses its power over you. Listen and learn. When we think about confidence, we often associate it with speaking, being assertive, voicing our opinions, or taking the lead in conversations. But there's another, often underestimated side of confidence, the ability to listen. Truly confident individuals don't just talk. They listen deeply, openly, and with intention to understand. They know that listening isn't a passive act. It's an active, powerful way to learn, grow, and connect with others. Listening requires humility. It means being willing to set aside your own assumptions and make space for someone else's perspective. And this willingness is a sign of inner strength, not weakness. When you listen attentively, you're showing that you're not threatened by different views or unfamiliar ideas. You're open to growth, and that openness is the foundation of intellectual and emotional confidence. In any conversation, listening gives you valuable insight, not just into what others think, but into how people feel, how they communicate, and what they care about. This kind of understanding helps you become more adaptable and effective in how you respond. Over time, this builds social confidence. You become more skilled in navigating conversations, reading situations, and engaging in meaningful ways that go beyond surface level talk. Listening also gives you the opportunity to learn from experience, both your own and others. When you listen carefully, you absorb new knowledge, perspectives, and lessons that can help you avoid mistakes, gain wisdom, and strengthen your own point of view. Every conversation becomes a chance to expand your awareness, deepen your empathy, and fine-tune your communication skills. And here's something powerful. When you listen to others, they are more likely to listen to you. Mutual respect is built through the give and take of communication. People feel valued when they are heard, and in turn, they are more likely to be open to your thoughts, your stories, and your opinions. This mutual exchange reinforces your sense of belonging and boosts your confidence in social spaces. Listening also cultivates patience and presence, two qualities that confident people consistently exhibit. When you truly listen, you're not waiting for your turn to speak or trying to impress. You're grounded in the moment, focused on understanding. This quiet confidence speaks volumes. It shows that you're comfortable enough not to dominate the conversation and secure enough to learn from others. In a world that often prioritizes loud voices and quick responses, listening stands out as a quiet but profound form of power. It strengthens your understanding, deepens your relationships, and most importantly, reminds you that confidence isn't just about being heard. It's about being wise enough to hear. Progress over perfection, one of the most common roadblocks to building self-confidence is the unrealistic pursuit of perfection. Many people hesitate to speak up, take action, or put themselves out there because they're afraid of making mistakes or not getting things exactly right. They believe that if they can't do something perfectly, they shouldn't do it at all. But this mindset doesn't build confidence, it erodes it. True confidence is rooted not in flawlessness, but in the willingness to grow through imperfection. When you shift your focus from perfection to progress, you begin to see every step, no matter how small, as a valuable part of your development. You recognize that growth is a process, not a performance. You stop holding yourself to impossible standards and start celebrating your efforts, your resilience, and your improvement over time. That mindset shift alone can unlock a greater sense of self-belief than any single epic moment ever could. Progress means showing up and doing your best with what you have in the moment. It means understanding that missteps, awkward moments, and setbacks are not evidence of failure. They're essential components of learning. In fact, some of the most confident people are those who have failed many times because each failure taught them something new and made them stronger, more aware, and more prepared for the future. Chasing perfection creates pressure, and pressure often leads to paralysis. You second guess yourself. You overthink. You avoid taking risks because the fear of falling short looms too large. But when you commit to progress instead, you allow yourself to take action without the burden of unrealistic expectations. You can experiment, explore, and improve without fear of judgment, especially from yourself. Consistency is key. Confidence doesn't appear all at once. It's something that takes time to cultivate. And at the heart of that process is consistency. Like any meaningful change in life, building self-confidence is not about doing one big, brave thing and expecting instant results. It's about showing up again and again in both small and significant ways until your actions become a natural part of who you are. Consistency means practicing courage regularly, not just when you're feeling inspired or motivated. It's about making the effort to engage in conversations even when you feel awkward, asking questions even when you're unsure, and contributing your thoughts even if your voice shakes. These moments, repeated over time, create lasting change. They build mental and emotional muscle memory, slowly rewiring how you see yourself and how you respond to challenges. What makes consistency so powerful is that it compounds. Just like saving money or training for a sport, each small, consistent effort adds up. At first, the change may be almost invisible. You might not feel braver after one conversation or more confident after one meeting. But if you keep at it, day by day, week by week, you'll look back and realize you've grown in ways you never imagined. You'll notice you speak up more easily, express your thoughts more clearly, and recover from setbacks more quickly. Consistency also creates stability in your internal narrative. When you repeatedly act in alignment with your goals, to be more open, more assertive, more engaged, you start to shift the way you talk to yourself. The inner critic begins to quiet and a new voice emerges, one that says, I can handle this. I've done it before and I can do it again. This self-assurance doesn't come from one-time events. It comes from patterns, and patterns are born from consistency. Another key benefit of consistent effort is that it helps desensitize fear. The first time you initiate a conversation, you might feel nervous. The 10th time, that fear has lost much of its power. The repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity breeds comfort. You no longer see social interaction or speaking out as a threat, but as a normal, manageable part of life. That shift, brought on by regular exposure and practice, is what gradually transforms fear into confidence. Being consistent also requires commitment, especially when you don't see immediate results. There will be days when it feels like you're not making progress, or when old insecurities creep back in. That's normal, but pushing forward in those moments, choosing to stay the course even when it's hard, is what builds grit, perseverance, and long-term belief in yourself. Ultimately, consistency is a quiet force. It doesn't shout or demand attention, but it is relentless. It's in the choices you make each day to keep going, keep trying, and keep trusting that who you are becoming is worth the effort, and it is worth the effort. So as we reflect on everything shared today, remember this: self-confidence isn't a destination. It's a journey shaped by every word you speak, every person you engage with, and every step you dare to take outside your comfort zone. You don't need to have all the answers, speak flawlessly, or feel fearless. You simply need to begin. Let your conversations be your practice ground. Speak with intention, listen with purpose, and grow through the connections you make. Whether you whisper or roar, your voice has power. And every time you choose to use it, you are not only building your confidence, you are also reminding others they can build theirs too. Confidence isn't found in being perfect. It's found in being present, being real, and being brave enough to try again and again. So go forward, start small, be consistent, and trust that with each conversation, you are becoming the confident, capable person you're meant to be.